good morning and welcome on this day of racing days. Spring has officially sprung and boy, there's some amazing stuff going on today. Welcome, this is Stable Boss. Dean, Wally and Shep here on your Saturday morning. Got a great show coming up in the next half hour, including a chat with Steve Tregea, who's got Incentivise going around in the Caulfield Cup this afternoon. How are you, boys?
Fantastic, mate.
Beautiful.
Had a good week?
Great week.
That's good. Saved up plenty of dosh for today.
Well, yeah, we had a good weekend.
I was going to say, I've had a good last couple of weekends. There's a bit of money in the back pocket, so we're not complaining.
That's good. Well, we're off to Eagle Farm later this afternoon as well. We'll have a look at Shep's tips a little bit later on. I just wondered, on our digital platforms, Stable Boss, we've got Instagram and our Facebook pages. We've set up a little opportunity for you. The two big races today, obviously, are the Everest and the Caulfield Cup. We just thought we might get your Everest Caulfield Cup double. And a great place to start, I thought, would be with you, Craig Shepherd. What do you like in the two big races today?
Well, I mean, I'm a proud Queenslander, so I have to go Incentivise in the Caulfield Cup.
Yep.
And I think I'll go Classic Legend in the Everest.
Oh, you've copied me. You looked over and you copied me.
Hey, guess what? I've done exactly the same thing. Can you believe that? So we've taken number 2 in the $15 million race, Kieran McAvoy. He's won it twice before, Classic Legend. And then number 2, Incentivise, Brett Preble on board in the Caulfield Cup. But we'd love to know what you think about that double, and it's very easy. All you've got to do is go to Stable Boss, our Instagram account, and you'll see we've got a post there this morning. You can actually engage with us on that, or you can go to our Facebook page. And while I'm at it, I thought we might quickly talk about our website, which is stableboss.com.au. No paywall there. All of Shep's tips. He's the brains trust behind. He's the engine. At Stable Boss, gives us some great tips every week. There's no paywall. It's free to sign up, and of course, we'd love you to sign up and engage with us at Stable Boss. Now, 20 years since Sheila Laxton won with Ethereal the Caulfield Cup. Are we going to see another? Are we going to see a Queensland horse win today, Shep? Do you think?
I think we will.
Yeah,
surely.
Can't quite say I remember that Caulfield Cup.
How old were you?
3 months maybe.
Sadly, I remember it very, very well. In fact, I think I had a bet on that horse that day. Nathan Exelby certainly remembers it. He caught up with Sheila Laxton on BRC TV this week.
Scary, isn't it? Scary. I mean, honestly, it seems like yesterday, and especially when I watch the replays, it's just really exciting to watch to see what she did again.
You'll never ever forget that fortnight and a half, will you?
Never ever. No, it's beautiful. It's lovely to be reminded of it this time of year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Ethereal won the Queensland Oaks on her way to the Cups double. This year's Queensland Oaks winner was Duis, who you're pretty taken by.
Oh, that was a very impressive win just now in the Kunji Handicap. So on that, you know, if she comes through that well and goes on to the Caulfield Cup, then the Melbourne Cup is in the offing, I'd imagine. It was really impressive. So it'd be great to see it done again.
There's something about that Queensland Oaks that can produce a good horse. Obviously, Ethereal, Winks did it. It has that habit of producing a good horse.
Well, I'm sure at that time of year, you know, the 3-year-olds, the late 3-year-olds, and if they can win a staying race, then it stands them in really good stead in the spring. So it's certainly form to follow, and if I had a horse that was coming up in the same way, that's certainly the path I'd take.
Sunshine Coast trainer Sheila Laxton reminiscing 20 years ago it was that Ethereal won the Melbourne Cup.
We're joined this morning by Kyle Wilson-Taylor. Good morning, mate.
Good morning, guys. How are we?
Now, before we touch on your rides this morning at Eagle Farm, there's a horse who you've had a close association with from a young age. Incentivise goes around the Caulfield Cup. How did you get to partner up with Incentivise in its early stages?
Yeah, well, it's obviously being well documented. I was riding quite a lot at Toowoomba on a Saturday night, and I'd had a bit of success for his previous trainer and owner, Steve Tregea. At that stage, he wasn't known as the first time I rode him, he hadn't won a race, and so I partnered him in a maiden, which obviously went horribly wrong. He found a lot of traffic, and I ended up pulling him out of the race.
How's it going to feel, mate, watching the horse going around today and having the memories that you did of riding him on a Saturday night at Toowoomba?
Oh, it's great. It's great to be able to say I've ridden a horse like him, whether he wins the Caulfield Cup or he doesn't. Regardless, he's a great horse, and it'll just be great to watch.
Well, I think I saw a tweet, and I could be wrong, but the day you rode him, Cole, and you had to ease him out of the race, I believe it was Queen Elizabeth Stakes Day, and very elegant, and a day went toe for toe. And the tweet came about before its last start when it looked as though it was going to be a 2-horse race between Very Yellow and Incentivise. And they go from 6 months' time, this horse is getting beaten 17 lengths, Incentivise getting beaten 17 lengths, Very Elegant, competing against the world's best. And look what happens in 6 months. I can't recall ever seeing anything like this happen before.
Yeah, it's quite amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't know that. I probably would have watched the Queen Elizabeth on that day. But yeah, no, like you say, that is incredible. Yeah.
Now, you've got 6 rides today at Eagle Farm, Kyle. You had 7, but Lashes has come out. What do you think's your best ride today?
It's probably they're probably all quite even. I like Confidant, horse of Cody Morgan's. Which just sort of got galloped on last start, and hopefully I can get a right run in transit, and hopefully the horse will be there when right there in the firing line. And
in race 6, it'd be a special win if you could link up with the Steve Tregea stable, prioritise. Yeah,
he's been a really good horse for Steve. He's won quite a lot of races, and he's a bit of a quirky horse now in his older age, but he's drawn a good gate. He's up in trip, and he's got the 3 up his back, so he's definitely a chance.
Just before we let him go, Dino, if anyone ever does give you a bit of slack, Kyle, if this horse goes on to become a champion, I don't know if you're aware, but do you know who the last jockey was to lose on Winks?
I'm not aware of that, no.
Joe the Magic Man Moreira was the last ever jockey to lose on Winks. So
is that right?
You're the last jockey so far to lose on Incentivise, and we hope his winning streak continues. And if it does, mate, there you go. You're not the only one.
Oh, that makes me feel a bit better about things. But no, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Be a nice career to mirror, wouldn't it? Thanks for your time this morning, mate, and all the very best today.
Thank you. Same to you guys.
There he goes, Kyle Wilson-Taylor joining us on Stable Boss this morning on Radio Tab. Back with more in just a minute. Welcome back to Stable Boss, Saturday morning Radio Tab, Dean Wally and Shep, and we're joined this morning by the Chief Executive Officer of the Queensland Thoroughbred Owners Association, Ben Mannion, in the studio with us. Hello, Ben.
Good morning, Dean. How are you, mate?
Very, very well, mate. It's exciting to have you here. Tell me a little bit about the history of the organisation.
Well, we're only a couple of months old, actually. We've followed the Queensland Racehorse Owners Association, which was around about 10 years ago, and has been a little bit dormant over the last couple of years. But we've decided to bring life to the Owners Association again. So the Queensland Thoroughbred Owners Association is the new entity, and we're off and running. And as I said, a couple of months old. We've got a couple of 100 members already, which represents about 2,200 odd horses that they have shares in. So some good numbers just to start with, and we're out there ready to have some conversations with Racing Queensland.
Can you give us a bit of a rundown on what the organisation's all about?
Yeah, sure. So a couple of months ago, we put together a board of the likes of Peter Tye and Linda Huddy, Chris Wessel from Archer Park, Gary Cunningham, and Drew Schofield, and they essentially wanted to start to have a conversation about having a seat at the table when we were having discussions with Racing Queensland and government around the benefits of racehorse owners. So that was the original goal, and then we've sort of gone along and set out 10 really key objectives around what we want to do around the rights and benefits of racehorse owners and their race day experience, but also some opportunities for non-race day events and things like that. So, as I said, early days, but so far so good.
Certainly been business with that board you've assembled.
Yeah, it's a great board, and there's certain people that open doors, no doubt, within the racing industry, which has been really great. So, those guys, invest a significant amount of money into the racing industry, and, they want to see a seat at the table when decisions are being made around a whole heap of things, including prize money, race schedules. There's some issues with jockeys in regional areas at the moment, so training and education around that space as well. So, and we're talking to Racing Queensland already about some of those things.
Now, Ben, obviously without owners, the racing industry can't go ahead. But it's not just the city owners. How will you be able to look after the country and the regional areas?
Yeah, so we'd love to have some steering committees effectively, or working groups in 3 key areas. So North Queensland, obviously Central and West, and then in the metro areas. So we'll be going out over the next couple of months and sort of setting up those working groups, if you like. And they can concentrate on local areas and local issues, as well as being able to provide some intel back to us to be able to take up the line with Racing Queensland. So our first lot of surveys will go out this week to our members, and we'll be able to get some really good information back from that, and we'll be transparent with the right people to be able to take that up the line so that we can get some results really quickly for our owners.
What do you think, Ben, are some of the key issues? And I mean, is Racing Queensland listening?
Yeah, well, they want to listen. So I've had some good conversations with Brendan Parnell, and he's already rung me again this week just to sort of ask, what the issues are. And there's some nominal issues that we can fix really, really quickly. But we aren't part of the conversation when they start to have a strategic workshop and things like that. And now we can be. We can actually take our bit of information that we've got to Racing Queensland and to the state government and sort of say, hey, our owners are investing X amount of dollars in the industry every year, and these are some of the outcomes that we're expecting. Yeah.
I mean, it used to be known as the sport of kings, didn't it? But now it's mum and dad investors, and I suppose you're right. I mean, there's not really a seat at the table for owners. I'm an owner. I don't really have a voice. It seems to me it's the trainers, the jockeys and the organisation and the clubs that talk about our horses.
Yeah, and in the past, Cam Partington from the Trainers Association, he's worked closely with the trainers to be able to engage with owners, to be able to take that information up the line, and that won't be no different. I think the relationship with the Trainers Association is really important, and we'll engage with those guys as well.
As Dean said, he's a member. Wally and I are also. How do we go about becoming a member of the association?
Well, our website's probably the best way of being able to, so qtoa.com.au, and there's a register now section on there, which is a really simple form, if you like, to be able to fill out, and then you can pay your $99 online, and then you start getting correspondence from me and QTOA, and then we start to engage with you around a two-way. We want this to be two-way, so it can't be just us telling people all the time about what we're doing. We want to be able to engage those people and be able to get them to provide us some information as well.
And you've already had an event. There was something on at the Gold Coast Turf Club last week. I hear that was a bit of a success.
We had 100 owners in the room, and quite a few of the Alpine Edge owners in the room at the time, who had obviously a Caulfield Guineas runner.
Troy Harry wasn't there, was he? He's at everything.
He's
like water. He turns up everywhere.
Yeah, so our inaugural QTOA race day was held last week. We had some wonderful sponsors on the day that took up some of the races. And it just, I had someone come up to me and say they've been involved in the industry for 40 years and they've never been to an owner's race day or anything like that. And that was really comforting. We can do that right across the state. And, I want to be really clear in some of our deliverables. It is a Queensland Owners Association. It's not a Metro Owners Association or Metro Brisbane Owners Association. We want to be able to engage with the whole of state. So we'll be doing that over the coming months.
There you go. Ben Mannion joining us this morning on Stable Boss on Radio Tab. Back with more in just a moment. Hello, Steve Tregea.
Speaking.
It's Dean Miller here from Stable Boss with Shep and Wally. How you going, mate?
Morning, mate.
Good.
So we're taking you live to Windermere on the beautiful Darling Downs. Is it the breeding place of a legend? Certainly a few legends, but in this case, come 4 o'clock this afternoon, down there in old Melbourne town at Caulfield, could well be. Everybody is talking about Incentivise. How are you, Steve? How are you feeling today? Has the pulse, increased in any way, shape or form this morning?
No, not really.
Is that true? Because we're all feeling nervous for you.
Well, I probably would be if I had the horse under my care, but he's not under my care, so I've got nothing to worry about.
Of course. Let's just go back a little way and just tell us about Incentivise and how he's gotten to this point.
Well, most of it's been documented pretty well, but he's been a very slow developing horse, probably slower than any horse I've ever had anything to do with in terms of his maturity. That would be the most significant thing about him. And we had to we were forced to just keep waiting and waiting until he decided to grow up and start eating and doing well in the stable. And the rest is history because he came good in such a hurry.
A hurry, all right. In April, he was still looking for a maiden win, and all of a sudden he's the shortest price favourite in the history of the Caulfield Cup by the looks of things.
Yeah, in fairness to the horse and to us, really, that wasn't the case. There's been a lot made about the fact that he got beaten 17 lengths in a maiden in Toowoomba, but you'd have to remember that he was second up. He got completely poleaxed in the race and knocked out of it on the corner. So that was a race he was never going to win. But admittedly, looking at the form, it looks rather strange that he could be beaten that far. But you really need to take that race out of it in assessing his development, because he only had a couple of other starts. His first start was at Ipswich when he was shin sore, and he ran on and only got beaten a few lengths, which we thought was quite respectable for a first starter. The second time in, which is when he really started to improve, he raced quite well in a 1,400-metre race at Eagle Farm. The next start was the start he got beaten in, and from then he's been winning. So, it's probably not a fair assessment to say that he couldn't win a maiden in Toowoomba and then all of a sudden he came good.
Now, Steve, at what stage in his track work or in racing ability did you realise that this horse probably had above average ability?
Well, really not until he started racing, because we don't worry about, when they're our own horses, and we don't need to report to the owners that they run up 634 and a half or whatever. So we're not really focused on that at all. We just work them with a mate and let them do their own thing, come to the line together without one betting the other. So under those circumstances, it's not that easy to assess a horse, other than to say that he was a nice looking horse and a big staying type, and he didn't have a lot of the early speed in anything he ever was in, and we didn't ask him to do it. So I mean, it was just a progress from start to start, and he only took a couple of starts and he was away once he got to be 4-year-old and was nearly fully developed.
As an owner, Steve, can you tell us about the communications you received this week from Peter Moody?
Peter sends an update every week with a video of his gallops and how he's pulled up and that sort of thing. And I had a couple of conversations with him, and he said he's done very well. So all things seem to be in order. I'm just, worried about how much rain we're going to get, but that's just the norm. You can't control the weather, so you've just got to. That's the one unknown, how the track's going to race, I suppose.
I heard Mood say earlier in the week on this radio station that Incentivise is the best stayer he's ever trained. That's a big rap from Peter Moody.
Look, to be honest, I don't know what other stayers he's trained. I'd have to ask him, but it'd certainly be hard to beat, because I only got to look at his record, and he's always a horse that the longer the race has got, we thought the better he was going to go. And so far, that's proven right. Whether that proves right at Group 1 level into this race and then in the Melbourne Cup if he gets there, we don't know. That's a bit unknown. The jury's out on that, but hopefully we're going to find out.
Barrier 20, Steve, your thoughts?
Would have liked 12 or something like that, but I don't think it's a major minus. He's going to race somewhere near the lead. The way that race is run, I think they'll probably go pretty fast to the first corner, and he might be wide coming to the corner, or he might sneak in behind something. That'll be up to Brett, but I don't think it's a major problem.
With the COVID issues going on around the country at the moment, Steve, I'm assuming, with the great history of this race, 140 years and $5 million prize money, you would have been going to Melbourne. Is that disappointing, or is it not concerning you these days? Or?
No, not really. Not really. I've got enough problems here on my plate with knees foaling and horses trained up here. So, no, I'm not sure that I would have been going. We might have had a family gathering down there or something at one of the major races, but to be perfectly honest, doesn't worry me.
Well, your neighbours at Windermere are a fair way away, but I'm just wondering, would they be hearing you cheering the horse on? Are you the sort of bloke that sits in front of the TV and screams, or do you just sit there very calmly and just watch the race proceed?
Pretty calm until the last 100. I'll be doing a bit of riding like I was the last couple of starts when he looked like they were going to run past him. No, I'll be riding in hard in the last 100 metres for sure.
It must mean a great deal to your breeding facility there at Windermere to have a horse like this in your stable.
Yeah, it does. You don't really expect to. It's not on the radar for us to be winning in Group 1 races or running in them even. So you don't start out with that objective. We pretty much focus on the Queensland racing, and we like to race our horses locally, and we like to train them ourselves so that we can take control of what we're doing with them. But mainly we're just focusing on QTIS horses. That's a great system, and it's been good to us. So it's really not. It's not something that's on our radar really, but certainly we'll take it if it comes along.
Now, Steve, during the winter, this horse caught the imagination of everyone around Australia. Was there ever the decision to knock back the offer from the new owners to come into this horse? Did you ever think about knocking it back and continue to train and own this horse yourself?
When the money wasn't enough, it certainly was easy to say no. But it seemed like a win-win situation when they put a proposal through Peter to retain an interest in the horse and send him down there, because as I said, I've got enough to do at home, so I wasn't that interested. We go to Sydney, we go to Rockhampton, we go to Mackay with our horses. I find that a bit of a challenge. But going to Melbourne was never going to be on the cards for me. So for that reason, it seemed like a reasonable proposition. So I just went with it.
Well, mate, a busy weekend. You got prioritised. You got this horse in Melbourne. Then you got Nobu Attack, the old Command and Conquer running, I think, on Sunday in Hong Kong as well.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, we watch him with interest for sure.
Good luck. All right. Well, it sounds like a backyard party at Windermere might be on the cards this weekend out there on the Downs.
Yeah, we've got a few family members home this weekend, so there'll be something going on for sure.
Good on you, mate. Well, all the very best today. We're so excited and thrilled for you, and we're proud to be Queenslanders watching this amazing horse go around this afternoon in this $5 million race with such great, steeped in enormous tradition, the Caulfield Cup.
Thanks very much, Dean. I hope we're on a successful night. But if we're not, we'll live to fight another day, hopefully.
Good on you, Steve. Thanks for your time today.
No worries. Bye-bye.
Wow, what an amazing story it is, fellas, hey? Isn't it incredible?
It is. It really is. I mean, I think whenever we get a good Queensland horse, everyone just rallies around it. And I think he's one of the best.
Yeah, Steve Tregea talking to us from Windermere this morning on a very, very special weekend for the stud. There's no doubt about that. You're listening to Stable Boss on Radio Tab. We're back with more in just a minute. Welcome back to Stable Boss on Radio Tab. There's certainly been plenty of wet weather around this week, boys. A number of meets around the country have been cancelled due to inclement weather. I don't think we're going to have to worry about that too much with Eagle Farm this afternoon, are we?
No, I'll be right, it's rain.
Yeah, certainly. Big 10-race card there today as well.
It is. I might even throw an extra one in today.
Yeah?
We had a bit of success with the 2-year-olds last week, picking both winners, and I think there's a nice one going around here from the Kelly Schweiter stable in race 2.
Fantastic. All right, Shep.
Yeah, Modelo. It's a half-sister to Kelly's other horse, Miss Hipstar, and we know how good she was. This thing trolled up really nicely at Deagon. It might have been only 650, but I really like the style of it. I think it can start its career with a win.
Fantastic. These are Shep's tips. You'll see them on the Stable Boss website as well for Eagle Farm today. So race 2, that's our first selection for today, and it is number 7.
That's it.
Is it Mordell? Might be the European way of saying Mordell.
We'll see how David Fowler pronounces it today.
Look forward to that. Okay, that's our first tip. Race 2, number 7.
Where are we then, Shep?
We'll go to the next race, race 3, Irish Sequel, number 2. It's really, I don't think it's run a bad race since it's joined Chris Waller's Gold Coast stable. I think last start, that was a really good effort over 2030, and I think the step up in distance here will only suit it even further. So I think he'll take the short price and
he'll be a winner.
I think so, yeah.
And hasn't Jimmy Byrne been booting a few home lately?
Oh, he's on fire.
All right, so that's our second tip for today at Eagle Farm. Race 2, number 2, Irish Sequel, the Chris Waller trained and Jimmy Byrne ridden horse. Where's our third selection for Eagle Farm today, mate?
Yeah, well, I'm going again next race, race 4.
Wow, we're going to get the money early.
Well, mate, the last race has done me no favours the last few weeks, so yeah, we're going to avoid that. Yeah, we'll go with Salatine, number 9 from the Tony Gollan stable. Had the one run for Tony on Mecca Sunday and absolutely bolted him.
Okay.
And he's got a high opinion of this horse, so I think he should be able to get through this field.
I think it's going to run a good race, Shep, but I've got Better Get Set there. So I reckon take your little Quinella, Better Get Set, Salatine. I think they'll gap the rest of the field.
Well, the O'Day and Hoysted stable are on fire at the moment, striking about 35%. So, yeah, that's a very, very dangerous horse.
Yeah, but a Ryan Maloney, Tony Gollan combination can't be denied either, can it? Salatine? I like the sound of that.
Not.
Well, we'll see. We're going to get our money early by the looks of things, Shep, this week.
Yeah, well...
You said you got one more for us, Shep.
I've got one more, yeah.
Oh.
I mentioned the O'Day Hoysted stable, that they're on fire.
Yeah.
And I think they can get the cash in race 8 with It's All Talk. She was enormous in the yard last start, so she'll strip fitter, and she won quite well over 1,200. I think the step up to 1,400 second up will really suit, and at around $7 or $8, I think that's a good price.
Something with a bit of value.
Yeah.
That's a nice multi.
You love a multi, Dino.
I do love a multi-miller, they call me. All right, so off to the track today. I've got one going around today, so I'll be there under Chris Anderson's wing.
I'll be off to the pub. I've got a mate that we catch up every Everest day, so we'll be hopefully finding a few winners.
Yeah, fantastic. What about you, Wal?
I'll be at the track. If there's ever going to be a day to head out to Eagle Farm, it is honestly today.
Yeah.
The biggest screen in the Southern Hemisphere. You got 10 races alone at Eagle Farm, Caulfield Cup, Everest Day. What a day to be alive.
Yeah, it's exciting. Thanks, boys. That's Stable Boss for another week. For more information, stableboss.com.au and all the usual digital platforms. You'll find us on social media, on Facebook and Instagram. Have a terrific day. Enjoy the Everest. Enjoy the Caulfield Cup. We'll see you next Saturday for more on Radio Tab.